last 9 years, almost 10, this group of men, 10 men in a Zoom meeting usually, is my community. All of it.
Joyful thing for me is some of the humor we share. We share a lot of stories of our own experience in our own lives, and it's often very joyful and makes my heart happy.
It is getting to know people in the church that I had never spoken to or had any relationship with.
I think getting to know one another. I mean, who would have thought 2 years ago Zoom would develop Christian fellowship? But that's exactly what happened.
Because as a new member of the congregation and the community, since I arrived in the middle of the year in 2020, it was pandemic season, it was important for me to connect with people who were like-minded civically, and also, of course, service-focused with Christian values. And I have certainly found that in this group.
As I've recognized much more how complicit I have been.
Differently, I realize that I don't know what I think I know. But unless I question myself on that judgment that I've already made, I can't open my heart to that person.
What could I have done differently if I'd known more and been more aware? I don't have any racial prejudice. I never had to. But I already see in her, and I see in all of us, racial prejudice has lots of dimensions. And one of the dimensions is lack of awareness of our own prejudice.
But when I look back on my education, including college, so much of it did not address some of the really important issues that we're dealing with today regarding our, when I say our, America's treatment of African Americans, Indigenous people, Native Americans, people of other races in our country. So it has really been eye-opening.
We get really a different kind of presentation that gives us greater insight than you would in school with a textbook.
So the trade-off was that in place of a comfortable, rosy viewpoint, which I think I had, my viewpoint became messy and mortifying, but it was real.
Women, I was shocked. I was shocked how much has been excluded from American history. Now I look at anything I read or understand is we had this thing called who is not at the table, whose story is not being told and why.
I wasn't separate from what happened to George Floyd. I am, in fact, part of what happened to George Floyd.
Caste thought of the whole issue quite like that. So the whole book of Caste.
A woman shared a story of how her mother didn't permit her to go to a swimming pool, a local swimming pool, because it was where African Americans swam.
I gotta say, it's like late 50s, maybe. He wasn't able to stop at a hotel. I mean, he couldn't stay anywhere.
And so the term that probably resonates, that comes the closest, I suppose, to that is, for me, love is God.
I come away with a more loving heart. And going out in the world from there with a loving heart, I think, is exactly of God.
I remember Patty Miller asking, "Where is God?" And I think that question comes up when you read difficult material.
God was really in the sharing that we experience in our group.
One of the bywords that we have used is that contact is one of the main antidotes to prejudice.
People knew what they don't know.
I feel like we can only heal and move on when we acknowledge our past wrongs. Think about stepping out of your comfort zone. Isn't that what God is always calling us to do, right?
No one can change us. We can only change ourselves. It's never too late to learn and grow.
Continue to be as easy to come into and feel welcome and belonging as we have.
We can't keep it in a sealed room.
We have a never-ending series of issues to focus on, unfortunately. So I think we're going to keep doing what we're doing because the formula is, I think, working very well for all of us.
Many of us will be participating in the Juneteenth celebration in our community for the first time. So, and I know God will bless that.